Have you ever felt lost when everything seemed right? At the Light Feed, we tell stories that shine the light of the gospel into everyday life, right here online, for anyone who is searching. Today, I want to share one of Jesus' most powerful parables ever taught. It is found in the Gospel according to St. Luke chapter 15, verses 11 to 32. And it's called the Parable of the Prodigal Son. Follow along and see what happens when a son leaves home, loses everything, and discovers the love that was waiting for him all along. If this story touches your heart, don't forget to like, share, comment, and recommend so the light can reach someone else. There was a certain man who had 2 sons. Both sons lived under their father's care, surrounded by provision, protection, and peace. They lacked nothing, were clothed in fine garments, healthy and well-fed. As time passed, the younger son began to feel restless, though he had a home, but his heart longed for a life beyond his father's house. One evening, as he laid on his bed, his mind was filled with thoughts of freedom and the unknown. He approached his father the next morning with a bold request. "Father, give me my portion of the inheritance that belongs to me." Though it pierced his father's heart, he did not argue. He divided his living between his 2 sons, allowing love to give room for choice. The younger son's desire for independence was granted, even though it came at a cost. Not many days later, he gathered all that he had, packed his belongings, and turned his face away from home. He mounted his horse, his inheritance tied to camels behind him, and set out for a distant land with hope in his heart. He felt excitement, freedom, and anticipation, unaware of the challenges and hardship that laid ahead. The young man arrived in a distant city, far from his father's home. With wealth in his hands and freedom in his heart, he lived as he pleased. He laughed, feasted, and enjoyed the company of new friends. Money flowed freely, and life felt so exciting. Among the companions, some spoke words of advice, but their counsel was selfish, aiming only to benefit themselves. The joy he felt was temporary, built on false friendship and fleeting pleasure. After many days, his wealth began to disappear. The laughter faded, friends abandoned him, and hunger gnawed at his body and heart. He looked around at the strangers who had seemed like friends and realized he was completely alone. For the first time, he understood the emptiness of life far from home. In desperation, he took work feeding pigs in a filthy farmyard. The place was so dirty that even the poorest person in that foreign land avoided it. He crouched near the troughs, watching the pigs eat, and longed for even the scraps they consumed. Hunger, humiliation, and loneliness pressed on him. It was in this low, broken place that reflection began. Alone, he sat and thought about the life he had wasted. He remembered the warmth of his father's house, the love that had never forsaken him, and the abundance he had left behind. With a humble heart, he said, "I will return to my father's house. I will not ask to be a son, but only to work as one of his servants." And in that resolve, hope began to stir. With courage and humility, he set out towards the village. Each step reminded him of the life he had wasted, but each step carried the hope of forgiveness. He imagined his father's house and the possibility of restoration, even if only as a servant. The road was long, but his determination burned brighter than his fear. As he neared the village, his father saw him from a distance, and without hesitation, he ran towards his son, with arms wide open, hearts overflowing with love. The son, however, so weary and humbled, fell into his father's embrace, and no words of anger, no reminders of failure, only love, forgiveness, and restoration. In that moment, he knew that love had never left him, and the home he had once forsaken was still waiting for him. Dearest people, no matter how far we stray, God's life is always waiting to welcome us back. Even in our lowest moments, grace does not abandon us. Love is greater than the mistakes we ever find ourselves into, and forgiveness is always there within our reach. So I would urge with you that if life leads you away, remember that your past does not define your future. Hope and restoration await you at home. Come home. There is room at the cross for you.